Now I naturally knew this as a child, okay? Because this is what we call self-reflection. When your consciousness is running a hologram. Now we're into, well, what kind of a hologram are you running? Right? With your consciousness, which is represented by codes. Right? Okay, so I'm not going to go cutting down any trees because trees perform big jobs. And they're sentient. And they actually have emotion. They feel what we feel. So I'm not going to go around cutting down a tree any more than I'm going to take a chainsaw to you or me. Okay, so you already know as a child, they're killing everything off on the planet in order to experience what they do in the future. That's called ass backwards. So when you know it's ass backwards as a small child, you already know that that's a death program. That's a death hologram. Okay, it's ass backwards. Okay, so you already know why you're here. Because we don't run ass backward programs. So you know what an eternal life program is, right? You're not needing to do what they do. So when you think of scales, right, and this is tied directly, electrodynamically linked libraries of information and what we become aware of through others that I have an association with, like Karen Ann Luke McDonald, 13th Arcturian clan mother, right? So when, I don't remember the exact year that she did it, but she filed it in the international court, okay, about stripping all the corporations the right to even operate here anymore. So imagine the impact of that. So just to give you an idea of what a death program is, all you have to do is see everything that we experience in the hologram. And this is how you can scale it. Every ship that's ever been built that is transporting goods from one country to another country, all the containers, everything that's in those containers, all the ships that are built, is death science. Every building that's ever been built on the surface of the planet is based on death science. Okay? The entire system that operates is death science. It's a death science program. Okay? Because it's an energy harvesting system. So you see how the energy is harvested and then it's transported on planes, trains, and automobiles, the noisemakers. Okay? So you realize that the hologram is sick because the mental field is sick. So the hologram is sick. So you realize how many units of consciousness that are represented by energy that doesn't have any feelings, which means it doesn't have a soul left, which means it's not a living spirit. Okay, that's a psychopath. That's a psychopathic hologram. Okay, running codes, which are death codes, which is death spiral, which is an implosion. As it means it doesn't have a future. Okay? Because it's always living in the past. Because it can never catch up to zero. Because it keeps killing off more of itself in order to maintain its cells. So the math doesn't work because the math lies, because the math doesn't zero out to experience perfect atmospheric balance between two magnets. Right? Perfect balance. Breathing as one. Breathing as one magnet. Breathing as one pole. We're all breathing as one. We're experiencing equal balance. So that's called stability on a vertical and horizontal line. Yeah, so everything fires right on time, which is perfect balance. And that's because the codes don't work. An eternal life code, a template that is programmed, built, assembled, the template itself is an eternal life template. It's never going to be compatible with something that is represented by death science. And that's basic logic. So that means that the communication systems as networks, a network builder of communication, are not compatible with each other. One is dead, the other one is a live one. Right? I mean, for me, this was pretty easy to translate as a child because it's in all our movies. So they're letting you know who they are because that's what they produce, and we experience it in our mirror, what they put through their mirror, which is the black mirror. The easiest way that you know, I know this as a kid is the first time when I was a little child and I saw that little skull on that black cat with the Nazi SS, the Schutzstaffel. Right? It's not funny, but it's like, how can anybody not know that? You know, just reading my first newspaper about somebody killing somebody else. What's the matter with you? Now you got to heal yourself. You know, what I do to you, I do to me in the mirror. So you know that you dove into a black mirror, a hole, a big ass hole. So it's knowing how to avoid falling in holes and not generating holes. You know, the hole in the head, blowing holes in our shield. You know, just like on this island. You know, the videos that I did with the folks that used to live in this house. They spend every day blowing holes in their energy field. Right? And like Aaron. Bless your heart, Aaron. You know, and it's not like he doesn't know. He knows. But his consciousness is trapped in a program that he doesn't know how to get out of. Right? Because he keeps doing the same thing over and over again, thinking there's going to be a different result, and there's never a different result. So he's always experiencing such an enormous amount of not only trauma, but an enormous amount of central nervous system disorder. So their cells, they're not organized at all. They're whacked out. So you know that the firing of circuits is all over the place. Right? Translate that through what happened in Baltimore. You know, it's really funny to see. It's not funny, but you can see how people are making it obvious now. You know, you have some folks putting up the information and just saying it's like business as usual. Kick the can down the road. Oh, the government's going to look at this. You know how it is. The old saying, it used to go like this when I was a child growing up. Shit happens. And they used to have another little saying that it went like this: Murphy's Law. Anything that can happen will happen. And then there was O'Malley's Law, which said Murphy was an optimist. Right? So now we're going to rely on the government to come up with, well, why did this happen? Right? Well, you know, mistakes happen, error codes. You know what an error code is. Right? The circuit's blew, the motor didn't come on, slammed into the bridge. We'll investigate it. So they send all these hundreds of people through all these different teams. We're all going to go figure this out. See if we can prevent it in the future. Could it ever been prevented from happening? And then you see a video showing charges that are going off on the bridge, like the World Trade Center. And so now you have all that information that's now going out there on TikTok. So it's like, who are you going to believe? So you already know as a child that those folks that represent the agencies, which is the Agent Smith programs at the local level, like your local city council. I appeared before the city council with 2 other native spirits about 4 or 5 years ago, and we laid it out for these folks, but they're tone deaf. They don't translate it. They're held captive to the Death Star programming. Okay, and why is that? The paycheck. Because you know what's going to happen. If they start waking up and going, yeah, I'm not going to participate in a war crime. Because the very job that I hold is a war crime in and of itself, because I'm an accessory to a war crime. So you can imagine if you scaled that up to every city council, every county council, every state house, and every federal government agency. Now we're back to Karen Ann Luke McDonald and the documents that she issued. Imagine that every corporation was shut down. Okay? That means every ship that is transporting goods, okay? Every big box store, every hospital, every pharmacy, every Target store, every Walmart, every Macy's would all be stripped to even operate. So now you have all these people on the planet. So now what are they going to do? They're all just all of a sudden just going to start growing their own gardens? Breatharian form, just breathe pure, eternal, absolute love energy. I don't need to grow anything in order to need energy to maintain my ATP cycle. I'm experiencing eternal life wherever I go. So you know the difference in holograms. So you know the difference in templates. That's what it is. Anyway, have a beautiful day. It is what it is. You know, and that's why when I was a child, I'm not gonna lie to you. I know what it is. That's why I'm here. Right? But you're not gonna go around exposing everybody's subconscious mind, which is the RAM, which is the read active memory of the programs that they're running, that they're held captive to. When you start exposing that and they realize, wow, your state of awareness is higher than mine. Well, that's what love is. Eternal absolute love is the highest state of awareness, which is the highest CQ3Q, which is the creative quotient, which is the creative power of a spiral, which is spirit, to play music that is in a state of peace, because the music is what heals us, which is what love is. That's who we are. Have a beautiful day.